Thank you for listening to the Captain's Quadrant. I'm your co-host, Joe Dove. We wanted to just let you know that our new stickers are available on our brand new launched website. Yes, the Captain's Quadrant has a website. Welcome back to the Captain's Quadrant. We are super excited to have our special guest this week in section 31 and a half as we have questions. And we're going to have a bunch of questions for our guest, Gabrielle Ruiz. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes.
Oh, the feelings, unlike to Lynn, are mutual. I'm so
Thank you. We're so glad to have you in the Captain's Quadrant. We're excited to talk a little about Trek and stuff that you were doing and where you're going in the future. So let's start at the beginning.
Engage.
Let's just engage. We'll make it so. That fuel and the fire, so to speak, to get into the business.
I was a fan of dance. I was a dance kid, ballet, tap, and jazz. And I luckily had a wonderful upbringing and training in vocal performance per se because of my high school choir in my public school. Had a they called us the choir cult. We were like all state choir kids. We were super there. Like we were there all the time, like at 6 a.m., stay there till 6 p.m. and take summer training to get ready for all state competitions. I mean, live long and prosper. R.I.P. David Custer, my choir teacher in public school education. I give him all my credit of all my vocal training. And I think that does, cut to now, really follows through in my voiceover career. But, so I didn't put it together until college. I was a dance major in college. I just knew I wanted to keep doing it, and also how. And being brought up in South Texas back in the 90s, there wasn't exposure like kids have now today with, the world literally in their hand, where they can see things that they want to be in the way that they can now. I had Dance Magazine, right? Or, things that I could see, or maybe movies that were telling me I have to go straight to New York right away, is what all those dance movies said. But I have to say, where I went to college, Oklahoma City University, I learned that there's this thing called summer theater, summer stock. And the ensemble learned 5 shows and performed 5 shows in 10 weeks. So every other weekend, you're putting on a whole new production. They're bringing in Broadway talent from New York to be the leads. Right. And that was the first time, you guys, I got a paycheck to perform. And that's when I was hooked. I was like,
oh, there you go. I can get paid.
I get paid to do this. Exactly. And signed, sealed, delivered. I'm done. Like, that's exactly what I knew. That's when I knew that this is what I wanted. I was good at it. I loved it. It was fun to have quick turnaround and execute this full stage production, costumes, changes, memorized, go. And I caught up quickly in college what musical theater was and is, and history, and what kind of characters I could audition for and whatnot. So that is when I moved to New York with a quick cram session of Broadway.
All right.
Well, let's warp speed forward, I suppose, and tell us, how did Lower Decks come into your life?
Sure. Had a Broadway career. We're gonna jump through that quickly, and then was given the opportunity to do television with Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. That was a musical parody show that took me to Hollywood, fast lane Hollywood. A lot of my career all of a sudden is like huge jumps, forward, and like warp speed moments forward. And I had an agent who believed in me, who wanted to try some voiceover work, and we gave it a try, and some things did follow through. And I found out, like, instead of commercial voiceover, like radio spots or talking about, a product, fiction was more fun, and I was responding to it more. So it had to have been, my goodness, like 2019, I think, where I had a few bookings at that point, and this audition came through, and it had Mike McMahon's name on it. It had a lot of like dummy sides, as we call it, where everything's coded and they're not really telling you what it is, but they want to hear what you do. And I'll never forget, I saw some of the producers' names and I saw Mike's name on it. And I told my husband, I was like, I think this is Star Trek, babe. I was like, this is kind of a big deal. And so the audition came through and it was a Mariner scene. And I had a callback for a Mariner spot, like for Mariner with the team. We were able to read the script an hour before we went into the studio. So they were not giving it away online. They were not giving to us ahead of time. It was very locked down. And oh my goodness, did I learn a lot in that room. How Mike's speed, his, rhythm and his comedy, especially for Mariner, and that being the lead of the show and what's expected of that character and that energy. Of course, Tawny Newsome, you see her now and it makes complete sense. So I'll remember seeing season 1. And I remember saying, oh, I went in for that. I don't know if you've had those moments in any part of your career, like, oh yeah, I remember that, kind of passing my way. And I said, that makes complete sense. This woman's amazing. Tawny's incredible. This is exactly what they wanted. And so I feel like I was in their sphere of actors, but not specifically for the characters that they had casted by the beginning of the show. And I think I came in for like a few supporting roles, even like was the voice of computer once. Mm-hmm. And Lynn came about maybe about a year and a half later after my first audition. If maybe could feel like 2, because sometimes with voiceover, you have such a long window after you record something that you don't see. So I feel it could have been 2 years by then. And by that point, they were pretty transparent in the auditions, what it was for and who Lynn was. She was Vulcan. And they gave me examples of T'Pol when she goes and visits Vulcan and she talks to her mother and it's all shade. It's all shade. Vulcan shade. And I thought, oh, this captain that she's speaking to, like Mariner and Captain Freeman, right?
Mm-hmm, Freeman, Captain, yeah, you got it.
Freeman. So like Mariner and Captain Freeman, this is her father. And so that audition, I decided that Lynn was talking shade to her father. And that ends up not being true. It's her captain who demotes her and sends her off to Starfleet. But that audition, I went in twice for it. I remember doing it in my closet, like at 8 p.m. Oh. And I took a shower and I was getting ready for bed. And I told my husband, I was like, it's not it. It's not Leonard Nimoy enough. Like, I remember thinking, I was like, the rhythm and the sound of a Vulcan, like it can't sound too android. It can't sound too emotional, but it has to also have shade. And I'm so glad I went back into my closet and re-recorded it, because I might have gotten an email. It wasn't even a phone call. It was just like an email, like 2-3 weeks later. You kind of forget.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So where were you when you found out the news that you got the role? Like, how exciting was that?
I was in my condo in Los Angeles. I think I had taken a nap. I remember waking up to the email and I called my mom. My mom is a Trekkie. And I grew up listening and watching TNG and falling asleep in their room watching it. And so seeing my name in Star Trek font was so special for both of us.
And especially because Lower Decks is that TNG era, so it was the TNG font, basically.
Exactly.
Oh my God, dream come true. Check.
Very emotional. Very emotional.
I gotta ask. I'm kind of jumping out of order here, but I gotta know. Yeah. Whenever you did the first read as Lynn in that first episode, did they tell you then that she was going to come back as a regular, or did you find out later?
No, is the answer to both.
Oh.
Did we know anything? No, but Mike definitely was in. I don't think we were in the studio anymore because that has to be post-pandemic. And there came so voiceover, the voiceover medium is already isolated. So there was no really delay per se in 2020. Maybe people were just trying to figure out how to sanitize everything and make sure nobody had a fever walking in, but things kept going for voiceover, which was really wonderful for everybody involved in that medium of entertainment. But I think once things started picking up again in pace, everyone was still on Zoom in these sessions. Like nobody really had to come in anymore because it was not difficult. They could hear us, they could see us. So I met Mike for some co-star work for Lower Decks, but then with Lynn, he was in that session bit by bit, he and I were building this character in Wedge Douche and that episode. And so there was no talk about who she might become, who he wants her to be. It's like, let's make her because that episode is an example of other Lower Decks, and that really was the point of nailing T'Lyn at that point. Then you see the episode in all its glory. My goodness, that battle scene at the end, and for me as just this one-time guest star, it was so beautiful. She was like had such a big impact on that episode. So I felt like I did all I could do in brag rights of being part of the Star Trek universe just in that one episode. But there then was some talk. I later with Mike, he mentioned that he was waiting to get feedback from the fans. And like I mentioned before, once you record something in voiceover, it could possibly take 18 months for it to show up on TV. Wow. In your living room. So at that point, you got to wait for a while. So then that next season, once T'Lyn's response was good and positive, and everyone was, enjoying the deadpan comedy that Star Trek already had, right? And since the very beginning, it took a while to have her show up again, which I think was really cool. She shows up at the very end of that next season, which is such a fun surprise. I don't think I ever really saw an animation of her until that episode. Oh, like in the recording studio. So like you're kind of layering these weird like timelines for me because I recorded T'Lyn 18 months ago, but then at 12 months, they're like, okay, we want to bring T'Lyn back for this one line, right? At the end of season 3, where she shows up at the bar and Tawny's character is like, let's be friends. No, I'm sorry. Tindy's like, let's be friends. And that's it. Right. I think that's when I finally saw T'Lyn on a screen. And her black short hair and her headband and all of that. And that was really special.
Did you get like a copy of the celluloid at all?
Like, I don't even know.
Of the character, like, did you get like, it used to be celluloid. I'm an old man.
So. No, I don't get any copies of anything until I go to a convention when the fans give me stuff. Isn't that funny?
Oh, wow. I thought
fair. I don't
in it. Yeah. They released like, here's your character,
Well, that's what they did. Sometimes, I'm in a booth. Mm-hmm. Sometimes a big room that's not a booth, there's nothing small about it.
Right.
There are sometimes they bring us back when there are just at least some like sketches, like it looks like handwritten, like hand-drawn sketches, illustrations of what the idea, right, is. Mm-hmm. And they'll sometimes show us that. But to get an actual like full through animated version of what you see on your television, I don't see that until everybody else does.
Wow.
At least I don't. I mean, I'm a very beloved guest star.
That's true.
Indeed you are, yes.
Thank you. I concur.
Chase.
So I gotta say, the show's genuinely funny, and I think one of my favorite T'Lyn scenes was the Vulcan as an MF scene that you did with Tawny Newsome, who was playing Mariner. Now, T'Lyn is a character with no emotions, or at least very, very muted emotions. And I gotta know, what was your headspace whenever it came to T'Lyn that charisma that she had on screen? Because I'm curious to hear how you as an actor approach that.
Thank you. It's going to sound so basic, but it's so true.
I like basic answers. They're easy to understand.
It's what would Jesus do? But not Jesus. It's Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, that makes sense. Perfect.
How would Leonard Nimoy say it? I'm not kidding. Like, what a terrible actor thing to say. Like, copy and paste, right? You're not supposed to, like, copy somebody, what you hear or what you see, and, like, do what they do. That's the worst acting advice you could be given. But I do imagine how would Leonard Nimoy say it, and then I say it. And then I say the line.
All I can hear in my head is Leonard Nimoy saying, "Then I too must be Vulcan as an MF."
Jason, you booked it. That's exactly right. Leonard Nimoy, I mean, in his book is, he was very, he goes through how how he was making sure Vulcan wasn't any sort of a parody or something kooky or something that people would just be like, Vulcans are so weird. No, he was like, I really want to create depth in this world and in this species, in this, alien, and like it's not human. And so he did the craft for us. Thank you. He did the work for us, all us other Vulcans. And it's very important to continue that legacy, that Vulcans are very funny and they don't need to be, they don't try to be, but they're so honest and so matter of fact that it's so entertaining. And it's so fun that T'Lyn gets to be the deadpan balance of the Fabulous Four of Lower Decks a lot.
Yeah. So speaking of the Fab Four, what was it like behind the scenes? Is it like chaotic, chill, nerdy, or is it all the above? Like, how did it mesh?
You mean behind the scenes with the cast?
Yeah. You got Tawny, you got Eugene, who's also a comedic.
Eugene and I have been on together in a TV show, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, the show that took me out to Hollywood. Mm-hmm. He and I met probably at a rap party. And I just have known him in the comedy world for a while. When I found out he had it, I was so excited for him, but we were not anyway acquainted to like, for me to say by text, congratulations. Mm-hmm. But I have to say, I might've been invited to like a rap party or a premiere party for like season 3. And I couldn't find like my COVID card or something, like not my COVID card, like
the vaccination card. I remember
vaccination card.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they had us have COVID stamps on a card, like a passport? I'm kidding. But I couldn't find my Vax card and I couldn't go. I searched high and low for it. And like, it was getting down to the wire. And so I think I would have met everyone then in person. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I hadn't really met everyone until 2023 in February on the Star Trek cruise. I finally met Tawny.
Oh, wow. So there was no interaction at all. Like,
no,
that's wild.
No. I know. Wow. Noelle, I've met because her sessions were sometimes right after mine. Mm-hmm. So I had met her 1 or 2 times, but she needs to start. I need to get out so that they can start. So there's no like relationship building because there's voiceover. We don't act together. A lot of people ask that question, and it's very true. We're not in the room together. I think it's rather rare and not often. And some shows still do it, but not often is everyone like in the same room together acting. And it's so funny in voiceover now, I did an audio book where 5 of us are in the same room. And I didn't know until we were literally standing in the room. I was like, oh, everyone else is here. Oh, okay. And so usually, there's like a page of script and there's like, you see everyone else's lines, but my lines, I can go through that same chunk about 3 times and let the director later pick. But no. You actually have to act when there's other people in the room.
That's got to be more fun then.
Sometimes.
Yeah, okay.
It is kind of strange because just listening to Lower Decks, it feels like you guys are just playing off of each other.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, the editing is amazing.
I think you're lying.
I don't know. I feel like I've asked some of the crew in a panel if they've ever done a table read together, and they might have had a table read in season 1, but I can't speak on that. I was not a part of the group then. Yeah. But for me, for T'Lyn, for Gabrielle's work on Lower Decks, I've never been in a room with anyone else. The producer who is there with me, either in the recording engineer room, that there's like a not a mirror, but like a window wall. And I can hear him in my ears, like he's feeding me the line before with direction. And so then I give 3 options and the team later picks it. I don't even know which one they pick until literally I'm sitting in my living room, just like you.
Yeah.
Pressing play. I'm like, oh, good. They picked that one.
Jeez.
So I gotta ask, whenever T'Lyn first showed up, I just remember the fan reaction. You were saying that she was received positively. I remember it being extremely positively. Everybody was talking about how great T'Lyn was. That being said, did the positive reception surprise you in any way, or were you just expecting it as you should have?
Oh, wow. This is like a big deal. Star Trek. I don't know if you guys know that. Like Star Trek's a big deal.
It's very big.
Okay. Especially even me knowing that because I grew up with it and my mom loves Star Trek. So I had an idea, just an idea of the family that this universe has. And so to receive positive feedback was such a relief because I was already like selfishly happy to just be a part of the group, to be a part of the group, even if nobody liked me. I was like, it's fine, I made it. But the response being positive, it was a relief because I wanted it to be, and I feel like Mike and I have talked about how he also wanted it to be, and he was also happy to see that so that he could bring her back. And what a great character to add to this group, I think.
Yeah, it was a really nice balance, but it like kept the humor fresh.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
It really made it fresh.
And if I ever do any other like extra characters in that episode, we have to do T'Lyn first, because once I start going emotional or just anything that's not Vulcan, because that show is bananas, as we know. It's like blah, 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 blah. You know, there's just so much energy. There's so much dynamic in the vocal range versus the vocal volume, you know. T'Lyn is very deadpan and straightforward, and that's what's funny. And so we always promised each other we'd do her first, we'd record all her lines, and then I would go do some one-off character that was fun to do.
That's awesome. I always center yourself before you can be someone else, I guess you could say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I take her out of my head, put her on the shelf, and then, like, you know, explore other characters that don't sound like that, because she's so specific.
Exactly. So I had the luxury of getting your autograph at a convention last year. Fantastic meeting you. So nice. I gotta wonder, has a fan ever said something to you about the show that really stuck with you?
Oh,
does that happen? I noticed that, like, when I go to panels, some fan will say something like, "Oh, you changed my life," and I
have to say, and I steal this from Tawny, that that Lower Decks is their first Star Trek, because either of Mike McMahon fan or it's an animated series, which is different, and so they get to be introduced to Star Trek through us. And we know, and I think we can all agree, that Star Trek is funny. There is comedy, period, throughout all the other series, but we are comedy first. We are in that tone. We you know, it's on the nose of how our tone is in that way. And so some people also like that because they think the other ones are too dramatic or too something, you know, blasé. And so then they start the other series. Either they start from the beginning or they explore an actor, and they're introduced to it. So like Tanya Newsom says, this is not my quote, I cannot take credit. She's like, yes, we are the gateway drug.
You want a little Lower Decks, man?
It's true. And so like either someone will come to me and say, I'm a fan, but he hasn't started yet, or she hasn't started. And I was like, don't worry, you're going to love it. We're the gateway drug. Welcome to the universe of Star Trek. Come on in, buddy. It's nice and warm.
Oh, yeah.
So what is something about voice acting that an outsider might not know that is actually difficult, hard, or unexpected about the craft?
I mean, acting is living and behaving truthfully through imaginary circumstances, right? Voiceover is that times a million, because there is literally nothing in front of you. There's nothing except text. So the imagination comes with a lot of trust with yourself and with the producer or the team that is, you know, a window away in the engineer booth while you're by yourself making up all this space and all this world just with your voice. So I have to say, as an actor that has done live, you know, on camera, live theater, and also now voiceover, when I book a voiceover job, there's a lot I don't have to change. Unlike theater, unlike live action, where I understudied on Broadway, which is having to change even more than your ego can take, because you are there to fill a hole for Idina Menzel, who you're singing next to, right? You know, not that she has an ego. I'm just saying, like, she has her show. She is the person people are coming to see. So you make Idina Menzel's show great first, as in my opinion, as an understudy. And then once once you go on like 10 times, then they're like, you can start kind of giving your own spin. And so with television, you do one scene versus a 2-hour snippet of something. You do like a 5-minute snippet. And then the director will come in and say, let's try this and let's try this and let's try that. Let's do a fun run. But with voiceover, for me, like I don't have to change a lot. So sometimes it feels like I don't book as it's so much quicker because you're standing and sitting, you're not getting dressed, you're not putting on makeup, you're not preparing in that way. They're not putting the set behind you to make sure the whole world is seen. It's not. That is done all later with a completely different kind of team after they record our voice. So that team, the animators, they hear us. I've heard they hear us and then find inspiration from us, unlike a live action, which I think is so cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I know Lower Decks is wrapped up, unfortunately, which
it's okay. It's a therapy session. It's fine.
Yeah. Which I thought was a mistake personally, because I think the show had a good 7 or 8 seasons. But what exciting projects are you working on? I know you're in the Spidey and His Amazing Friends doing some.
Yes, what a wonderful show too. I play Mama Rio.
Yeah, which is a sweet character. How do you approach Spider-Man differently from Lower Decks or any other voiceover acting? Because the world of Marvel is kind of like chaotic in its own way, because it's just so much. It's so like even just Spider-Man has so many characters and villains and heroes. It's like
it's very specific on their audience. First of all, it's a children's show,
right?
And so they did a really good job by keeping it that way, because I have a almost 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and so it's really cool to see their psychology build with their age, right? Like how they deal with stress. And there's some certain shows that my daughter will run out the room. She's like, I can't watch. And she doesn't look worried. She just knows her anxiety can't take it. And then she'll wait for it to finish that scene. And she knows the show, like Super Kitties or something. Okay. And like, there's something that'll make her nervous, and she'll run out and she'll be like, is it over? And I'm like, yeah. And then she'll run back in and be so excited to keep watching it. Spidey does a really good job of not making it too scary. It's more like playground fighting. They make sure that the style and the intention is, even though we know Spider-Man is like a franchise and it has all these rules and it's already established, but they make sure it feels like playground play with their words and their intention. And even in the script, it says Green Goblin dashes through, but not in a scary way. It's literally written that way. So everyone whatever, angle you're coming from, whether you're the director or you're the actor or you're the animator or the editor, whatever, you just do backgrounds, you just do the bubbles. I don't know. They know that it's written there because they want to keep it that way. So that, I got to say, is fun. So, the Spider-Man rules, yes, they do exist, but like as Mama Rio, I'm the mom. And so I have a very sense of control to show them love and like cariño, and like make sure when he's home, he feels good. And then if I'm in trouble or if I see Spidey, I'm just like, wow, look at Spidey. Like there's this maternal approach to it that kids really respond to.
Yeah. Jace.
So what can we expect to see you in the future, or hear you in the future?
Oh man, hear me in an audiobook.
Oh,
it's a musical, which is exciting. I think it's about to be announced, and they I like, if you guys remember, I'm also a dancer first. And so it kind of worked out that they were looking throughout the cast if anybody could tap dance. And I was like, oh, professional and proficient. I raised my hand. So I was able to do the tap sounds for a lot of the book work, which was such a cool day in the recording studio. And I brought my tap shoes out and I was like, Gabrielle, can you still do this? And I could. So there was like a really cool conversation with my agent and with legal of like, what is this credit? Like, what kind of credit is this? Is she choreographing it? Is she doing the sounds? Is this, sound effects? That I learned a lot, and everybody was wonderful in those conversations. And so that's really exciting coming out. I don't know when, I'm not in charge, but I just filmed a movie in Guatemala last fall. That's going to be on the no, it's not the right acronym. EWTN network. It's the Catholic network. And it's based off of a true story of this blessed father, Stanley Rother. He is one of the first priests killed for his faith. He's American, but he's one of the first martyrs while serving the Catholic Church. And I was able to film. I was a nun. I was not the father. I was not a priest. But I was a nun representing a lot of different kinds of women that were part of his parish. But we were able to film in the parish in Santiago, Guatemala. And the experience was like none other. What a beautiful project to be a part of. It was so easy and so wonderful. It didn't feel like vacation. It felt like more of a pilgrimage. And I glamp, okay? Like, I'm not talking that kind of pilgrimage. It just was like so respectful for this story and this town who still has that story that needs to be told, and also respect to what happened. And we were able to film on the steps that he worked. So I'm really proud of that. And I hear it comes out this fall of 2026, but who knows? Stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram. We'll find out.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we'll have all the socials down below so you can follow and
exactly.
And make sure that you're really caught up with all of the fun works that she's getting into. I saw a couple of your dance videos. I was like, oh wow, and then you can sing too, if I'm not mistaken.
I can sing.
Yes, yeah. Do you
concur.
Any future albums coming out? Maybe a duet with Bonnie Gordon or something?
Oh, Bonnie. We finally got to sing together last summer in Vegas. We sang For Good. We thought it was appropriate for the summer.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that song, but oh my goodness, singing with Picardo. And I cannot believe I have not sung with Anthony Rapp. He and I did a Broadway show together, for crying out loud.
Oh, wow.
With Adina Menzel, funny enough. If Then. We did If Then on Broadway together. And I was like, Anthony, why are we not singing together? Let's make this happen. Stay tuned. Watch out for our, announcements of hopefully us singing live together this summer.
That would be cool. All right. We know you've got to run and handle a lot of fun, but we had so much fun with you. Thank you so much for being a part and our guest on the Captain's Quadrant. Let people know your handle, and I'll write it below in the show notes, and any links you have, they'll be down below in the show notes.
Yes. So one additional plug is I'm very proud of a live cabaret show that I produce in New York, but we're going all over the US this year. We're called the Randy Andes. You got to think postmodern jukebox and the Andrews Sisters. And yes, the word Randy, look it up and you'll know the rest.
Okay.
And it's super fun. And Jason knows what I'm talking about. And super fun, super frisky, and super talented. Like, it's Broadway talent. And I produce the show. I guest perform when I want. I'm having such a ball. Such a ball with these dolls that are so talented. I'm getting the word out there that they are so talented. So I've been able to tell people about that, and they think, oh, what about this place? What about this venue? Blah, blah, blah. Like, we do dinner theaters and performing arts centers and whatnot, and had a wonderful holiday season in 2025. So take a look at that as well. And everything else you can find at Gabrielle Ruiz on Instagram mostly. I'm sorry, I don't do TikTok. I can't do it.
That's what he's famous for. He's got 700,000 people that
God bless. You're doing it right, man. I can't do it.
I was literally I live in Jersey.
From far.
Yeah, I went to a sushi place and I heard his voice. I was like, what? And somebody listening to him. I was like, really?
I just wave from afar and I bow down. I just bow down.
I have no idea why I'm not that appealing of a human being.
What's sad for me, the criticism to myself is like, I'm a dancer. Like, there's so much dance on TikTok. Like, it's like a no-brainer. But I don't know. I feel like I just like to edit too much.
That's fine. I bet you would blow up really quick. I'm telling you. You get on TikTok doing those dances, and then I'm not a dancer, as you could tell, but
see, that means you'll blow up faster than me, because you're not.
Because there will be people look at Fatty. That's why.
No.
That's why it would blow up. But no, you are talented, so I'm pretty sure that you would blow up.
No, but come find me at a con. Come tell me you love me in my show. I love hearing it all day long. I have no problem. Awesome. I'm very approachable at the cons.
Absolutely. Yes, you are. I'm living proof. I have your autograph here. So
we do love you. We do love you.
Absolutely.
Thanks to our friend Derek from Cool Waters Productions LLC or coolwatersprods.com. The president, Derek, and his crew are just the best, and they represent, again, some of the most amazing people, like our guest, Gabrielle Ruiz. Be sure to head on over to their website because they are having amazing deals on signed autograph collections right now. Bryce Eller, yes, that poster that you had as a kid in Star Wars, that was Bryce, and that poster is signed by Darth Vader, Bryce Eller, and that cool poster is available now at coolwatersprods.com.